Morning. Morning. Hello. Where's the lamb sauce? I don't know where the lamb sauce is, dude. I got some honey though. Morning. Oh. Drop my recorder. Morning. I just dropped my first batch. I've already cleaned my wood. It's all clean. Oh. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Sounds folklory. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it's a few hundred years old. I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember who the composer is. I think it's Bach's son. What else should I play? bake bagels now. Okay. Yeah, I can play O Canada. I have to stir my pot here though, and for bagels.
Hamlin towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. Split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, find the remedy we are lacking, or sure fate will send you packing." At this, the mayor and corporation quaked with the wind consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a gilder eyed my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wonder his fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin. But lips or smile went out and in, there was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." He advanced towards the council table, "And please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm, to draw all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper." And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat itself same check, and that scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture sold fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I bred the cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 150,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And in the three shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and muttering grew to a grumbling, and grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, hawking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry as... Still winning? Who's still winning? America? Trump. Trump's not winning. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere three shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and muttering grew to a grumbling, and grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plaintive plotters, great old visitors. Oh my God. Gay old friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper from their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Ratland home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as of scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses bright, and moving away pickle tough boards, and leaving a jar of concert cupboards, and drawing the corks of train all flasks, and breaking with the butter casks. It seemed as if a voice sweeter far than by harp or by psalteries breathed, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world is growing to a vast dry saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your lunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just as we thought it said come bore me, I found the Weser rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ringing bells as they rocked the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, get long poles, Cocoa finesse and block of holes. Consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats. When suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace, the first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders. The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, moselle, vin de grave hock, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folk to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your coat. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, was in joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come take 50. The piper's face fell and he cried, no trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the prime of the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver, with you don't think I'll bait a stiver, and folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, do you think I brook, being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a ribald, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe of smooth straight cane, and ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling, and merry crowds justling at pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, and like foals in the farmyard of barley and scattering, out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flax and curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping around merrily after. Wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if they're changed with blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosoms beat, as the piper turned from the high street, to where the Weser rolled its waters, whitening away of their sons and daughters, how he returned from south to west, to Clubberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed, great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top, he's forced let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced and the children followed. When all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No one was lame, and could not dance a whole of the way. And in after years, if you'd blame his sadness, he was used to say, it's dull on our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town in just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, flowers were forth a fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was bright as the peacock here, and her dogs were ran afoul of deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. And just as I became assured, my lame foot be speedily cured, the music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas, for Hamelin, there came into many a burgher's pate a text which says that heaven's gate opes to the rich at as easy rate as a needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor sent east, west, north, and south to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas lost endeavor, and piper and dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the veteran memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future to lose his labor, for suffered they hospital or tavern, shocked with mirth the street so solemn, and opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not omit to say, in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into which they were japanned a long time ago in a mighty band out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out with old men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats or from mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. Somebody requested "O Canada" earlier. There's my version. My rendition, I guess I should say. I went to McDonald's this morning, got a coffee. Always tastes more than one cream and one sugar. It must have a big teaspoon or tablespoon back there. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee. Yeah, same shit, different day. I don't know how you can tolerate the monotony. You always come back for more. You must love the punishment. You must love to suffer. You love to suffer, hey? You love it when I make you suffer. Well, thanks for the compliment. I'm a demon. Yep, they're blue. I got blue eyes. I have blue and green eyes, just like the Pied Piper. You're a three-legged dog. Had my suspicions you're a dog. I can't see your face, so I can't give you any value. Guess that's how that works. It's you are. You are. And you spelled psychotic wrong. You are. You are, not your. You are. You need to take English lessons. The second language. You are. You are. You gotta get that right. You are. Or you're. Give it another try. Do it. You've done it twice in a row. Yeah, I am the grammar police. But you shouldn't be on here if you can't speak grammatically. Einstein. What are you doing on your Einstein? You should practice a bit, eh? No. I won't be giving you a break. You don't get a break. No, I haven't. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved to waylay with his lies and snare? All travelers might find him posted there. And ask the road, I guessed what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering? What with my whole world wide wondering? What with my whole world wide wondering? Oh, I can't. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askins to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee, the person scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved the waylay with his lies and snare? All travelers who might find him posted there. And asked the road, I guess what skull like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph or pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside and do on this track which all agree hides the dark tower, it acquiescingly and eternally pointed, neither pride nor hope for kindling at the end described, so much as gladness of it might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out for years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes farewell of each the friend, and says farewell to each of them. What? Whew. Something wrong with my head today. Didn't get enough sleep last night. I keep on jumbling my words, forgetting them. It's pretty hot in here. I need to open all these windows or doors here. Oh. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that person scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved the waylay with his lies and snare, all travelers who might find it posted there, and ask the road, I guessed what skull like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph and pastime in the dusty thoroughfare.
If at his counsel I should turn aside and do ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescently I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end of the stride, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to reap the spring my heart made, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to dead said, please talk. Apparently you haven't been exposed to Victorian poetry. Because this is highly sensible language, if you understood. Highly sensible language. Keep being you. Yeah, I will. Yeah, 1800s, Victorian. Queen Victoria. Robert Browning. The Dantes. The Rossettis. Robert the Bruce. Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. He was an American Victorian. In a sense. Not gonna get through that poem, I guess. I'm in Richmond. Ironwood Plaza, California. Nice. Well, I want to visit California. I need to renew my my passport though. I currently don't have a current passport. I haven't traveled out of Canada in a while. So. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, asked him to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee, the person score its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What save to waylay with his lies and snare? Held travelers who might find him posted there, and asked the road, I guess what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. Bacon bagels, not pizza. And I'm not super hungry right now because I just ate, so your impression was incorrect on most counts. Bagels and bacon, please, yes. I wish we had bacon. We don't have bacon here. Yeah, we have cheese. We have cream cheese, cheddar cheese, slices. No, bagels. These are multigrain.
I'll show you. That's a multigrain bagel. Oh, yeah. I eat one bagel a day. One bagel a day keeps the doctor away. Is what they say, right? That's what they say. A bagel a day keeps the doctor away. That's what I always say. Pizza pockets. I haven't had a pizza pocket since I was in high school. I walk past them in the freezer aisle and I'm like, I sort of crave them once in a while. I should buy them. They're not that bad, really. We should make bagel pockets here, or we could make something like that, like a stuffed bagel, a pizza. Yeah, stuffed bagel. That is true. They're a quick, easy food. I'm gonna put another batch in. Oh, thank you. Enjoy your pizza pocket. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for making a positive contribution to chat. I appreciate that. There's our sesame seeds. Thank you. The trick is just to get the paddle as straight as possible, and you twist it, and then they just fall off.
My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What save to waylay with his lies and snare all travelers who might find him posted there, and ask the road? I guessed what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, and acquiescently I'd turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that express joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freelier outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care about banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, and may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so often writ, so many times among the band to wit, the knights who to dark towers first had rested their steps, that just to fail as they seemed best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catch it astray. For mark, no sooner was I found, pledged the plain after a pace or two, and pausing throw backward a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, great plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such starved ignoble nature. Doth nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove, but chortle and spurge according to their law, might propagate their kind with none to awe. You'd think a burr had been a treasure trove. No penury inertness and grimace, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, and nothing skills. I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must cure this place, calcine its claws and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mates, its head was chopped. The bents were jealous else. What made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh force be? Bruises to balk all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, passion their life out with a brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair in leprosy. Thin dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff blind horse, his every bone a snare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past the service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red, gaunt, and calloused neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart. As a man calls for wine before he fights, I asked one draught of earlier, happier sights. Ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, a soldier's art. One taste of old time sets all to rights. Not it. I fancied Custer's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold. An arm in mine fixed me to my place. That way he used, alas, one night's disgrace. Oh, at my heart's new fire and left it cold. Giles, then, the soul of honor, there he stands, frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare, he said he durst. Good, but the scene shifts. Fall, but hangman's hand pinned to his breast. His own band reads it. Poor traitor spit upon it cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkening path. No sound will sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the night send a howl or a bat, I ask, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the glooms. This, as it frothed by, might have been a bath for the fiend's glowing hoof, to see the wrath of its black eddies be spat with flakes and spoons. So petty yet so spiteful, all along low scrubby alders kneeled over it. Drenched willows flung them headlong in a fit of rout despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by, deterred no whit.
Which while I forded, good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's cheek. Each step or feel the spear, I thrust to seek for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but it sounded like a baby shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank, now for a better country. Vain presage, who were the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trampled the dust pad the dank soil to a plash? Toads in a poison tank, or wild cats in a red-hot cage? The fight must so have seemed in that foul cirque. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse. None out of it. Mad Bruits set to work their brains, no doubt, like galley slaves a Turk pits for his pastime Christians against Jews. And more than that, a furlong on by there, what bad use was that ended for that wheel, or break not wheel, that harrow fit to reel men's bodies out like silk, with all the air of Tophet's tool, on earth left unaware, or brought to sharpen its rusty teeth of steel. Then came some scrub ground, once a marsh, and see now mere earth desperate and done, so the fool finds worth, makes the thing and mars it, till his mood changes and off he goes, within a rude bog, clay and marsh, sand and stark black dirt. Now blotches rankling colored gay and grim, now patches where the leanness of the soils broke into moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it recoils. As far as ever from the end, not in the distance but the evening not, to point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird, Apollyon's bosom's friend, sailed past Nervita's wide wings dragon-penned, that brushed my cap perchance the guide I sought. For looking up aware I somehow grew, the plain had given place all round to mountains with such names that grace mere heights and heaps now stolen in view. How thus they surprised me solving you, how to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seemed to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me, God knows when. In a bad dream perhaps, here ended then progress this way, when in the very nick of giving up one more time, came a quick as when the trap shuts are in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place. Those two hills crouched like two bulls locked horn in fight, while to the left a tall scout mountain, Dun's daughter had dozing at the very nuts after a lifetime of training for the sight. What in the midst lay but the tower itself, this round squat turret, built to brown, blind as a fool's heart, built to brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest mocking now points the shivering thus the unseen shelf, he strikes on only when timbers start. Not see, because at night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled to a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hand to see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. Not here, because of night, when noise was everywhere, told, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers, how such was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of old, lost, one moment now with old years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, for one more picture to sheet of... There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, a living frame, for one more picture to sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet, dauntless, the slughorn to my lips I set in blue, child Roland to a dark tower came. you for watching. Have an excellent morning, all.